I am a nurse practitioner, and I'm the primary care provider for a lot of the low-risk maternity cases at the practice where I work. I also work hand in hand with the doctors and midwives to create a healthy maternity, birth, and postpartum situation. My fiancée is completing her residency. We live together and have for a few years now. We weren't in any hurry to get married. We originally had plans to do so in a couple of years, but then we got really busy for 2 years. It's driving my very religious parents crazy that their youngest son is living in sin. I don't really care. I'm an adult and I do what I want. We're getting married in June, so we're visiting my parents for a special dinner. The way it came together this year, everyone is at my parents' house, so that's my folks, my 3 siblings, myself and my fiancé, and 7 grandchildren, so 17 people. At dinner, my mom starts talking about how she's so glad that we're finally getting married and that she won't be embarrassed at church anymore. And my dad says how proud he is of his 3 older kids who all either waited to get married before moving in together or got married right away after moving in together. My fiancé was getting embarrassed, and I was getting mad over this stupid argument we've had too many times already. And a family dinner was the last straw. I've repeatedly asked them to accept that they cannot control how I live my life. As a result, I refuse to stay with them when I visit, even if I come alone. Hotels are just easier. I started talking about a premature baby I had been reading about. It was almost 3 months premature and weighed about 1.6 pounds. It was super strong and healthy for being born so little, and the NICU had high hopes for the baby doing well. My mom and dad both got deer in the headlight looks on their faces. Too bad. Should not have messed around with my fiancé's feelings. So I asked them about my oldest brother. They told everyone he was born almost 4 months premature. Is there a chance that we could check out the family album where we keep all the records of family births and stuff? I already know my brother was over 9 pounds and almost 23 inches long when he was born. My grandmother told me all about it the first time my parents tried to shame me. The subject gets changed very fast. After supper, my parents told me that I should not try to embarrass them with private things that were not my concern. I told them that if I heard anything about my living arrangements ever again for the rest of my life, I would make sure to keep bringing up the fact that my mom was in her 2nd trimester when they got married. My parents are mad at me for telling them how to behave in their home, but my fiancé's happy that they seem to be off the subject for good. Am I the idiot? My Grammy used to say, the first baby after marriage can come anytime. The second one always takes 9 months. Next time they give you guys grief, discuss how comfortable the back seat of your dad's old car was. You are not the idiot, OP. They're hypocrites. The fact that they fabricated going through a really grueling, often tragic thing just to keep up appearances really tells you where their priorities are. Standing up for your fiancé and yourself was much needed. This was brilliantly done. I have a friend who had a one-night stand with a woman who said she was pregnant a couple of weeks later. When the boy was born 11 weeks premature, weighing 11 pounds, my friend hightailed it out of there. Hopefully your parents will shut up about this issue now. I always notice that the people with the most to say always have the dirtiest laundry. Hypocrisy and judgment abound. I absolutely love this. You didn't call them out and embarrass them, but you stood your ground. I did laugh out loud when you said where you got your blackmail information. Grandma had that in her pocket for a long time, I'm guessing. I hope you give your grandmother a big hug regularly if she's still with us, because that is comedy gold. Congratulations on your upcoming wedding. I, 27 male, decided to take over my family's farm about a year ago, but I've been dating my girlfriend, 24, for 6 months now. When I took over the farm, I knew I wanted to get 2 dogs that were great protectors, so I got a Rottweiler, mainly for guarding, and a Maremma sheepdog who does most of the herding. Needless to say, both dogs have important jobs, and I always need them to be alert and aware in their training for the safety of themselves and the other animals on the property. That includes not treating them as pets. Unfortunately, recently, my girlfriend has been calling my dogs by 2 distinctive nicknames, and it's bothersome. She calls my Rottweiler Rump Roast and my Maremma Jelly, which are not their names. She's also been petting and cuddling up to them as you would a cute little puppy or something. I understand that she loves them, and the nicknames are out of love. But again, these dogs are not to be treated as pets. They're workers. I explained this to her and told her that if she couldn't understand where I was coming from, I really couldn't have her over anymore, and we would have to continue to see each other outside of the farm. This made her upset in a sad way. She was sad when she left, and I felt bad. I tried to explain my reasoning and side of things to her, and even asked my little sis for some advice. Still, my sister said that I was the idiot here, because my girlfriend is just a great person who cares for the animals as much as I do, which is true, so I get where she's coming from, but I also need these dogs to stay trained as farm dogs. Am I the idiot? I own several dogs and have fostered and trained many more. Some have jobs, some don't, but I've never seen a dog less functional at its job for receiving more love. My Aita is my guard dog. It's smart enough to know when it's go time, no matter what cuddles he's getting. My Borgie, Border Collie, Corgi, is a herder and never was less effective at herding for being called a pretty little bean. Yes, you are the idiot. Wouldn't a guard dog be better at its job if it loves the people it's supposed to protect? Not to mention how important positive reinforcement is when it comes to training dogs. How's OP expecting to train his dogs if he doesn't intend to reward them with treats, praises, and cuddles? I pity those dogs, honestly. They'll be raised not knowing love and affection because OP thinks that they're just farm equipment. Plenty of police and service dogs live normal, non-working dog lives when they're not on duty and are still fantastic at their job. Working dogs aren't supposed to be on 24/7, dude. I don't think you know what you're doing. Definitely has no idea what he's doing since he got a Rottie as a protector of a farm instead of a literal livestock guardian breed. Then he has the actual LGD herding? An entire mess, LOL. Please give your dog some love. I'll say this again. They're not slaves. You don't deserve dogs. You're also cruel for refusing to let your girlfriend pet them. They deserve love. She's probably sad for them because she knows you neglect them regarding affection. I happen to marry into a family with an insane amount of money. More than they know what to do with, quite honestly. I spent approximately $15,000 per child for my 3 children for Christmas, which I am immensely grateful to be able to spend on them. I donated the same amount to a charity of each child's choice as well. My mom's side has a rule that we only get each other Christmas gifts if we'll be seeing each other that year on Christmas Day. For cousins with children, we get the kids' gifts rather than their parents. My mother hosted this year, and about 10 of my cousins and their children were coming. So I bought each of my cousins' children something unique, not really thinking about the price, but more about what I thought they would like. My cousin, 35 male, has a young teen daughter. She's the result of a one-night stand. So most of us in the family have only met her mother a handful of times, and only for a few minutes. My daughter is the same age, and 2 parts of her Christmas Day gifts were Cartier love ring and an Yves Saint Laurent purse. I bought the same for my cousin's daughter, as they're very close and I thought she'd really like it. My cousin's daughter excitedly FaceTimed her mother to show her the gifts that I bought her, and was very upset upon ending the FaceTime. She said that I spent more on her daughter for Christmas than she had, and she was livid with me. I genuinely didn't think about the cost of the gifts, just more about what I believe a girl her age would really like, especially considering I have a daughter the same age myself and know what they like. My cousin's daughter's mother is really upset with me because she feels like I made her look bad to her daughter, but I only ever intended on getting her daughter gifts I thought she'd like. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. I'm too rich to understand why the poor would get angry at me for spending thousands of dollars on gifts for their children. Yes, my friend, you should always run gift ideas by parents. If it's not something small, think less than $20. It's always a good idea to run it by the parents to make sure they're okay with such a purchase, and to make sure that they don't already have it. In some cases, parents may have punished a child for bad behavior by delaying the purchase of something they want until their behavior improves. And you making that gift for Christmas gets in the way of discipline. It's about being considerate. Agree. Most girls that age don't dream of YSL purses and Cartier bracelets. I think the money has gone to your head, and you just don't live in the real world anymore. What is normal to you and your husband's family is not normal to the majority of the world. Oh, and I spent $15,000 on each of my 3 kids and donated the same to charity. Who spends $90,000 at Christmas? Even if I had it, I wouldn't. OP, you made the parents look bad and stole their thunder on Christmas. If there's a spoken tradition within the close family, great. But spending $4,000 on gifts for a child outside the group without discussing it with the parents first isn't appropriate. Disagree. This is such a bitter thing to say. I doubt OP did anything maliciously. Your comment reeks of bitterness and jealousy. Honestly, I would be over the bloody moon if OP were in my family, for my kids' sake. People who are jealous will always find reasons to fuel their bitterness. I'd bet that if you had only given inexpensive presents, some people would criticize you for being cheap. OP, not the idiot. You're definitely living in a bubble, but essentially got twin gifts for your daughter and her cousin, who you say are close. Her mother overreacted because she was insecure about how much you spent. Most of the comments are jealous and bitter as well. Let me assure you, if anyone were to buy my daughter such lovely gifts, I'd simply be jealous that I didn't get them too. I am the drama this week. I, a teen female, got kicked out of Sunday school at my stepdad's church this weekend. My mom married Brad earlier this year. He has 4 kids, a tween female, a younger tween male, a pre-tween male, and a younger male child that are with him most of the time. And to say their family is religious is like the understatement of all time. The daughter has to wear skirts all the time and can't cut her hair. And they're all at church at least 3 times a week and have family Bible time and stuff every day. I wouldn't care, except that now that my mom and Brad are married, they expect me to participate. And that's just not my bag. I think it's superstitious, misogynistic nonsense, and I always leave their church feeling icky. I tried to get my mom to let me go to my dad's on Sundays to avoid conflict, but that's a non-starter so far. So I try to avoid talking about it, but Brad is like making it his personal mission to get me saved or something. So the subject comes up regularly. I finally put my foot down about not wanting to go to church with them, and it turned into a big argument, and my mom asked me to just go and keep the peace for the younger kids because it's something we do as a family. So I go and mostly just read, but I don't lie about why I'm there or my religion if someone asks me a question. Of course, it makes Brad angry and my mom, but I figure they can let me stay home if they don't like it. The problem is that the Sunday school teacher for my age group is a real piece of work and thinks we're all stupid because we're teenage girls. So he likes to go into biblical Greek translation stuff to make himself look smart. The only thing is, he's almost always totally wrong. My dad sent me to private school, and I took 2 years of ancient Greek, taking Latin now. And I know he's BSing people. So I brought an interlinear New Testament and a coined Greek dictionary with me this week. And when he got started, I corrected him. Not mean, but just like, wow, that's not what it says here at all. Can you explain more? And, oh, that's weird, because that's not how Brill defines that word. The dude was turning red by the end and asked me to stop interrupting. So I just shrugged and said I was trying to learn. He told the pastor, and the pastor told Brad that I was not allowed to come to Sunday school anymore because I was disrespectful. So Brad and my mom are mad and want me to apologize for derailing class instead of just getting through quietly. But I don't know. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Brad is way out of line trying to force his religion on you, and your mom's also the idiot for trying to coerce you into going to his church to keep the peace. Can you talk to your father and ask him to intervene on your behalf? His custody lawyer will have a field day. That's bugging me too. Hiking is an activity, or Friday night movies, or even volunteering somewhere. This is not on the same level as, this is our family activity, come join us. Mom may have to deal with the fact that you're not going to humor your stepdad's hobbies, and it's not your job to keep his kids from realizing There are other ways to live. I suspect part of this is he wants to keep tight control of the household, and questions breed rebellion. OP, you proved that the purpose of the Sunday school lesson was not about learning. If it were, the teacher would have been happy to have a discussion with you. The adults trying to force you to attend and agree with something you don't believe in don't respect your opinions, yet expect that you should respect theirs. That's not how respect works. My coworker, female 33, and I, male 43, used to get along great until a few weeks ago when she suddenly became very cold towards me after a work night out. I asked her out once or twice, but she rejected me, so I gave up, figuring out that if she changed her mind, she knew where to find me. My lease was coming to an end and I needed a new place to live. Through the grapevine, I found out that a flat directly in front of her house was for rent immediately. No wait, so I grabbed it. Just to explain a bit, the street is 2 long rows of terraced houses directly facing each other, with each flat above ground level having a huge bay window. Awesome flats, so I signed the lease immediately. My bay window is right in front of hers, which shouldn't be a problem. It's not my fault she doesn't use curtains. I use my big room as kind of a sitting room mixed with my gaming room, so I set up my computer and desk directly by the window. So when I'm gaming, I look directly outside. As I said, this shouldn't be a problem. Plenty of people do that. She hasn't said anything for a week or so. Not sure if she even knew that I lived there. But recently I saw her looking at me, and I smiled and waved at her. She made a strange face, waved back, and left the room. She's been telling everyone at work that I'm a creep and a stalker just because I rent a flat in front of hers. I am considering going to HR because she's been slandering me all over, but I wanted to double check if I'm in the clear. Am I the idiot for renting a flat directly in front of hers? You are the idiot. You asked her out multiple times despite her saying no. You then moved directly across the street from her. Innocent explanation or not, you are coming across as a massive creep. HR is not going to be sympathetic to you after you continue to ask her out after she clearly said no. You are the one who's harassing her, by all appearances. It's not my fault she doesn't use curtains. This literally sounds like the start of a horror movie. I'm a guy and I'd be creeped out if someone trying to get close to me rented out a place opposite me. And from OP's description, he rented it out because it was opposite her. Like, not I rented out a place and later discovered it. Can't believe someone in there with the right mind would do this. OP, you are making someone uncomfortable in their own home, specifically a woman you know personally and have a history with. Even if it didn't lead to anything, there were attempts made. This woman now does not feel safe in her own home. She doesn't know what's going through your head. All she knows is someone she's rejected has moved next to her and watched her through her window. So, once again, regardless of what your intentions were, just the lack of awareness of this situation, even if you moved there with no ill intent, would still make you the idiot. And you want to report her to HR? Heck, man, she's reading the situation clearly. You are most certainly not in the clear. The fact that he wants to report her to HR sounds to me like he has insight and realizes he's being super creepy and is in the wrong, but wants to beat her to it to cover his own butt, because nothing that she's done has been reason enough to go to HR. What will he say? That she left the room after he waved to her? He has no reasons to go. He just knows she's going to report him.